Hello there. This is Sam Joseph's tips for the human-computer interaction assignment one. So here we are in the page. This is the I just let's go through in. Oh, let's leave that page. Oh, did I have stuff in there? Maybe I did. Oh well. But so we've got some, the assignments here as usual. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Good to read all of the different bits and pieces, the general overview. The HCI course, amongst others, has got this multi-stage thing where you put the assignment in, there's a deadline, and there's evaluation, and so on. And maybe I'll do help videos on that in the future. But we'll go in here to need finding, the first assessment, and so. I guess first up, I'm going to click this here. In accordance with the honour code, I said about the answers here are my own work, and I have appropriately acknowledged all external sources, which I'll certainly do my very best to try. Although actually, I'm not really ready to submit for grading. Let's have a look at this from the start. So they've added since last time this nice progress bar here, which is doesn't affect the grade as I understand it, but is a nice way of sort of tracking what we've done. So first of all, they've sort of ticked it off for us. Look at the assignment, because we are looking at the assignment page. Always, stuck, confused, just read everything that's written down. That's a good tip. So need finding. We're going to train our eyes and ears to come up with design ideas by watching people do things. So the first thing is to choose a design brief. They're hyperlinked here, and so I've pulled those up in this next page. So we've got these three design briefs. We've got change, glance, and time. And I guess one place that people initially might get stuck is just in terms of what is a design brief. That may be a term that they're unfamiliar with. I think it's a brief is sort of instructions about what to do, but they're maybe not necessarily precise instructions. They're not like precisely do this one thing and then do the next thing. They're sort of general briefs about this is the kind of thing that we need to do. And so we get these three alternative project briefs that we can look at, and there's lots of details there. I won't read through every word of them. I'm sure you can do that yourselves. But I guess my summary looking at these is, we've got one that is, I guess, it's almost about information overload. I guess that's actually more glance. Here, this is, wanting to change. You may be stuck in your ways. Is there some way that people can, I guess, get help to maybe do more exercise or do volunteering? It's all described in there. Sometimes it just you need to read these things a couple of times before it starts to go in. But yeah, so there's change, there's glance here, which is information overload. We want to kind of, is there some way that we can have like a dashboard or something that would summarize important things for us to know? And then there's also time. So thinking about time, is there a different representation of time, of calendars, and so I think these briefs are intentionally loose to kind of allow us to explore any activities. I mean, the key thing, if we go back to this assignment, really is about need finding. It's all about observing some people doing things, and then having observed them doing it, seeing if they're getting stuck in places, seeing if they're having trouble, seeing if they're having successes and so on, and thinking about ways that we might be able to help them. And the brief is kind of, at least, not that, no, I'm not the arbiter of truth, and truth is arguably relative. These are to kind of, rather than it just being choose any activity in the world, it's, think about the kind of activities where you're trying to change things, or when you're glancing at things, or you're trying to cope with short time, or this, that, and the other. And then that maybe helps you select an activity that you want to observe. Of course, there's, the idea is that the activity that you're observing will then lead to seeing some sort of needs that the people who do the activity have, and then designing something to fit in with helping those people. So there is a temptation, and I know I've done this when I've previously done the course before, that you select something that is related to something that you're interested in, because that's an area that you want to work on, and that's I think that sort of almost goes without saying that that's okay. I think it's okay. I mean, we're all incredibly busy. A lot of us were doing these courses in our spare time. We're trying to fit them in around others. We've got other work things. We've got other work projects. There's normal projects. Kind of finding an overlap between these sort of courses and things that you actually do and actually care about is, I think really helps make it more practical moving forward. I mean, it's you could say, right, I want to choose an activity that's like totally, I've never been deep sea fishing, and I will observe people doing deep sea fishing, and I will try and provide an interface for deep sea fishermen. But if you haven't got access to deep sea fishermen, and that would take lots and lots of hours to set up accessing and seeing deep sea fishermen, then it may be difficult to stay on the wagon given limited time constraints. So, but anyway, so moving on looking through these design briefs, I sort of had an idea in mind of the kind of activity that I wanted to observe, and I think I've worked out. That it is change. It's change that I think is my project brief. That's one thing I'm going to go through here. Is I'm going to start doing bits of my assignments, sort of to help you get you started. Obviously don't just copy my approach, but so yeah, so I've chosen the change one. Am I going to go down here? I guess the first place that you fill in down here is like under which design brief does your observation change fall under? So I'm just going to type in change there just to remind myself that that's what I've selected. Or I don't know. I mean, doesn't seem to be any particular rule about how you should format this, but I'm going to design brief change like that. That just reminds me that I've done that. There's a lot of words here that we've got this grading rubric. Lots and lots of pieces of information can be overwhelming in the first instance. One of the reasons I'm recording this, but one step at a time, maybe. We need to start somewhere. So next, come up with a specific activity to observe. We'll ultimately be designing a web-based service application. So, but the observation doesn't have to include electronic devices. It could be deep sea fishing, but again, do you have access to deep sea fishing? And there we go. We may be designing a project to try and improve an existing computer interaction. So now I'm really, 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 really interested in pair programming, which is the process of two people working together on the same code base or the same code, potentially at the same computer, maybe actually. More recently, there's this remote pair programming where two people, or more even, group programming, are in different places around the world and they're connected electronically, and they then, collaborate, working on coding, to make things. And so that's that's the thing I'm most excited about at the moment, and I think that's the activity that I want to observe. But now, if I go back down here, it's like I do need to explain the activity that I observed and how it relates to the brief. So I've gone and done some observations. I'll do more about those in a minute. So I'm going to start typing and say I observed groups of programmers programming together. I think that's what I did. In fact, when I did this course previously, I think I observed a couple of programmers working together at a computer. What I've done more recently is observe this remote pair programming. But the particular thing I'm thinking about change is one of the big benefits about pair programming is about seeing exactly how other people do things, rather than sort of reading an explanation of how to do something and then do it. You can actually see directly what they do. In some ways, I guess I'm almost doing half of pair programming here, in as much as I'm looking through the assignment and I'm kind of showing you, I've clicked here and I've kind of started to type in here, and that the design and the layout of this page and the description of what to do is kind of intended to make it relatively straightforward that you'll see what to do that. But if you haven't encountered, depending on the background where you're coming from, this relates to all sorts of HCI issues, that may not be obvious. And so seeing me do it here may suddenly really help you understand, or well, not necessarily understand, but or think, oh right, that's what they intended me to do here. And of course, again, it comes up, this is just my interpretation of this, and it may be that actually the intention was different. But anyway, at least seeing somebody doing something is really, really valuable, I think, as a learning experience. And in particular, if you, rather than just being recording, as you're watching recording with me now, that you can actually be doing it in real time, and you can reach and say, oh, actually, why did you do that? Did you do that for some reason? And so on. That's also exceptionally valuable. But the reason that I connected the pair programming thing with change is, I think it's, the particular value of pair programming is about learning new ways of doing coding. This is programming in languages like Java and Ruby and so on, and the things that actually power some of the websites that we all know and love. And it can be a real challenge to learn the new tools and languages and so on. People are trying to upgrade their skills. They're trying to get better coding habits, maybe use more tests. There's all the terminology there that I won't necessarily go into. But so I've definitely now I've selected an activity to observe. I'm just going to go and say I observe groups of programs programming together, trying to improve their programming skills and change themselves from change themselves from less experienced programmers into more experienced programmers. And we can argue backwards and forwards about the justification or otherwise of that there. I think the pair programming can be done purely as just not necessarily to implement change within the individuals. It can be done. What's the word? It can be done really just to just get work done as a more efficient way of getting work done. But I think one of the important side effects of it is that it is the knowledge share that goes on and that change there. So now we've got the next section down here. I don't need to upload any files for that one. Describe how 3 people performed an activity related to the brief you chose. In particular, you should focus on a particularly interesting moment, break down workaround for the observation, upload a photograph or sketch of each person performing the described activity with a short caption. Right, and so I'm kind of going back up here. I'm kind of select 3 individuals to observe. Right, that's this one. So choose people who are not similar to yourself in some way. Your goals to observe the successes, breakdowns, and end opportunities that occur when computers are used or not used, or could be used to support your chosen activity. So I have been recording pair programming sessions with myself involved, and also now some of my people who are involved in pair programming, in my group programming, they've been recording themselves actually, and so it's sort of a little bit of a stretch. I work from home. I don't get to get out and see people often, so I'm going to maybe stretching the intention. I selected to have these 3 individuals, or rather, this is something they made this video of themselves doing the pair or the group programming, triple programming, or whatever it should be called. And that's what I've got from my observation. So and I observed them, and so I didn't what I'd done in the previous instance of this course is I'd actually been at an office with a couple of programmers, and I did video it. I mean, it sort of tells us not to. I kind of I sort of left that running. I just feel like capturing it, because there's things that I might miss, and I'm a bad person not following exactly what it says there. But so and of course for the remote pair programming, the people I was involved with, they used like Screencast-O-Matic to record the screen capture of themselves actually pairing, as it were. And so, I mean, in an ideal world, I guess I might have actually been co-present with one of them, like I'd have been there in the room taking notes as they did it. I might have been videoing all of the rooms they're in, as well as screen capturing, but resources are limited. So then I did, I've got access to the video, which is great. So in this observe section, they were doing this task as part of a project that I'm involved in. So that was, they did it as realistically as they possibly could. So, and I've been through the video of them doing it, and so I took a series of notes about that. And I'm still in the process of following up and interviewing the participants about what was happening. But so so now what I really want is sort of a few photos. My plan here is to sort of describe how the people performed an activity related to the brief you chose. So I've got 3 programmers worked on a particular feature from a programming project. So then I want to focus on interesting moments, breakdowns, and workarounds. So I've got interesting moments, breakdowns, and workarounds. is it focus on a single one or multiple ones? Let's go back up and put this in the description here. Observe. Yeah, but do not use two. To say how many that I need there, and this is, you might need to go back and listen. What was it we've got? So this is the other thing. We've got the rubric here. Photo sketches. We want 3 relevant photo sketches in demonstration of a breakdown or design opportunity. So if I go and find my, I'm going to find my notes. And so one of the things that I noticed as I was reviewing the recording was there was one point where, so there was the three programmers, and 2 of them could hear each other's audio, but the other one couldn't. Well, he could hear, but I think his microphone wasn't working, so the first 2 couldn't hear him, and so that's kind of a breakdown in that failed, but they had a workaround. So I guess, yeah, this is an interesting moment. Number 1 would be audio not working for one remote programmer, and then that programmer used Skype text chat to stay in touch. I guess it's microphone maybe not working for one, although it could have been some other technical issue. But so I've got an image taken from that point, and I've kind of blurred out. Well, I've covered the names. I can get the blur tool to work. That free one, good one is for faces particularly. But so that was them using it. So I'm just gonna grab that file from my. It's a screenshot there. Yeah, there it is, and pull that into there. Oops, and that's now pushed it. Move that down. There we go. Now I won't bore. I'll probably fill in some more there later on, rather than bore you taking me through other ones. I mean, I've got sort of a list of notes of all through the session of when people kind of got stuck, or how to do this, that, and the other. And so I'll add 2 more interesting moments, but that's just an example of moments there. And then so that's in principle that would be identify. We've done observe. I haven't really finished that observing thing because I need to put that in. But the final bit, after identify user needs, go over your findings based on a list of specific user needs, opportunities for design innovation that would enable computers to better support the activity observed. There we go. We've got to generate lots of them. So I won't do all that now, but I might start there based upon that particular observation. So I go in here is, so for example, you could have a system where text chat was spoken aloud by some automated text to speech system that would maybe allow those without microphones to allow those without microphones to participate. Yeah, and then I have to go on and think. And from that one, I mean, they worked around it with what happened was in the example in the recording was that one of the programmers who did have microphone working would read out the text from the one who didn't, and that seemed to work reasonably well. I guess, yeah, automated speech thing there. I mean, other sorts of solutions, interface ones, don't immediately spring to mind, except for I mean, all these sorts of technical issues of just it would be nice if it just worked, if all computers had microphones installed. But yes, that doesn't necessarily seem to, I can't immediately think of another solution there. So, but then this is, we need at least 15. I've got my list of other things that, problems and issues that were encountered and solved there. So I'm going to go back to that and then keep on brainstorming. And then in principle, I will have done this, it's the first portion of this assignment. I'm going to click this and save my draft for the bits and pieces that I've done. I think since I haven't really finished that, I'm going to unclick observe, because the observe thing there includes finishing these, actually getting up, all three of those images. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just recap to say, I think I'm kind of bending maybe the intent of the assignment. Maybe the hope would be that I would observe three separate individuals, in the real world, and I'd be there co-present with them. I've kind of taken it to take three individuals who I'm observing, and they're collaborating with each other online. I did also get the video of it, and I may well link that in. I got permission from the individuals involved to share it. So yeah, I think that's well, we'll see. I mean, I've blurred out their names in here. Less easy to conceal that throughout the entire video. We'll see whether that's appropriate to add that in. But hopefully this might have been helpful for you. You can see all of these sort of grayed out areas here. Once we've finished doing the assignment, there's going to be, I think, subsequently this evaluation phase, which is being talked about elsewhere. But yeah, do try and get the assignment in on time to take part in the evaluation phase and the results phase, and get lots of feedback. All right, bye bye for now. Good luck with the assignment.